Hey Run Junkies, welcome to the Go Find Your Awesome YouTube channel. We are very serious about how much fun we have around here. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you have been around for a while, following me for a while here, things are going to look slightly different here going forward for the remainder of the year because training for RunDisney's Goofy Race and a Half Challenge has begun. So today I'm going to tell you a little bit about the training plan that I'm following. But before I do that, I want to give a few shout outs to my fellow YouTube creators and friends. So first off, I want to tell you about Laura from Laura Runs and Eats on YouTube. You can also follow her on Instagram. I'm leaving her links in the description below. She is a yoga instructor and actor in New York City, and she is absolutely amazing. And by the way, she's actually coming up as a guest on our podcast. So check out her links in the description below. She is also doing the Goofy Race and a Half Challenge. Another shout out I want to give is to Running in Makeup on YouTube. Kristen is also training for Goofy's Race and a Half Challenge, and she is just rocking her Galloway training. So please follow her on YouTube as well. Keep doing what you're doing. You're amazing. I've left links to those channels in the description below, so please check them out. As for me though, let me tell you a little bit about myself if you're new to the channel and how I'm approaching training this particular section of my journey, this particular chapter in my running life for the Goofy Race and a Half Challenge. First off, I've been a runner and triathlete for over 15 years. I've recently become a certified running coach, and I've run several RunDisney events, multiple events in a single weekend, including the Dopey Challenge twice. Well, sort of. And for that sort of, click on this card right here for what happened in 2017. And because of all of this experience and because I am a brand new coach, I thought this was a good time for me to start developing my own training plans and see if I can develop a training plan that's going to make sense to me, that's going to work for my world, my schedule, and that will still prepare me for Goofy's Race and a Half Challenge and that 39.3 miles in January. So what I did is I created a 20-week training plan, and you can find the first month of that plan at gofindyourawesome.com. That is my blog. I shared with you a lot of information about how I'm approaching this plan over there, so check that out as well. Link in the description. I get into the whys and wherefores about this training plan more specifically on the blog, but here is the elevator pitch, if you will. This training plan is designed with 4 runs on average per week, 2 cross training days, and 1 full rest day. There's a lot of flexibility and give in that 6 days of work. Each one of those runs is heart rate training. Therefore, I'm training most of the time in those lower zones, occasionally and purposefully reaching up into those higher zones for some speed work. Those 2 cross training sessions are going to be low intensity and shorter, just to balance out my total body fitness. And the 1 full rest day is crucial for rest and recovery as I reset for the following week. This whole plan is designed to keep me healthy and keep me from overtraining and injury. Now recently over on the Go Find Your Awesome podcast, my friend Jen and I discussed heart rate training and why it is so good for runners to take on this philosophy of training. So yes, I will leave yet another link to that specific episode in the description below. Coming up this week, I will have another video about how this particular philosophy applies to me, heart rate zone training, and how I use it in my training and how you might adopt it for your training journey as well. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. Okay, now that I have that out of the way, let me walk you through how this week's training went. Goofy Day 1 was on Monday, and while school has started and we're back into some semblance of a routine with my son firmly in 6th grade and cross country, I do have a sense of purpose and a sense of deadline to get up and out the door. So many of my runs, all of my runs this week, in fact, I've been out the door before the sun is even up. In fact, 3 of my runs this week, I was done before the sun was even up. And yes, this is challenging. It's really hard to get out of bed and get it done before I have to get my son out of bed. But I know that when it's done, I can check that off my list and I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day. Also, I'm coming into this training after a 12-week cycle of triathlon training following that, a full recovery week. And I'm also making dramatic changes to my nutrition at this point, early in the training plan, so I can approach Goofy with a healthy body. I am currently in the middle of a Whole30 challenge cycle, so about halfway through that. I'm feeling pretty good. It's not great, but I'm getting it done. So my body is adapting to that as well. Monday morning, I got up early for an easy zone 1 3-miler, 45 minutes, followed with some strides. Now, strides are really easy to add in some speed work. When you're finished with your run, you start a new run, you accelerate for 20 seconds and then drop back down and finish out the minute at an easy jog. Then you repeat that cycle, running faster and then slower and then faster and slower. For me, Monday it was 4 strides and I might do up to 10 as the cycle goes along. It's just a really great way to add speed work without putting a lot of stress on the body. On Tuesday, because I was still kind of in recovery and I'm brand new to this Whole30 thing, I did a yoga strength session for about 30 minutes. It was plenty, that's all I needed. On Wednesday, I did a tempo run. So I started off with a 15-minute warm-up, and then I did a 1.5 miles at tempo pace, or zone 3. And then I finished with a 15-minute cool down. Thursday, I did more cross-training with 30 minutes of TRX, total body. And Friday, I did an easy 45, 50 minutes in zone 1. And today I did 1 hour and 36 minutes. It was programmed 8 miles, but here's how that actually went.
Now, the last thing about this training plan is that for every run, I have a time cap. So I will set the plan in miles and by time. So whichever I reach first, I'm done. More often than not, because especially now in the middle of summer, I'm going to hit the time cap before I hit the mileage cap. For example, I just finished my long run. It was 8 miles or 1.5 hours. I hit well past 1.5 hours before I even hit 6 miles. So part of the issue that I hear a lot of people saying is, well, isn't this about mileage? And yes, but to a point. For a challenge like Goofy Race and a Half or Dopey or even the marathon, whatever long distance running you're going to be doing at Walt Disney World, it's about time on your feet without overdoing it. It is early in the training plan. I just finished off my last workout for the first week of this 20-week training program. I will say that sure, that time cap and running by heart rate is super challenging mentally, because here I am, especially I usually get around that first mile where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is taking forever. It's something that I have to learn patience around. So instead of just muscling through it and trying to get it done and trying to get the mileage in, I have to remember we're playing a very long game here. 20 weeks with lots of long runs to come. So there are plenty of miles to be had, lots of time on my feet. This time cap is going to help me keep from overtraining, keep from overdoing it, keep myself from getting fatigued and or injured. This is how you play the long game. You play it conservatively throughout your training. So yes, it's just the first week, but I hit that time cap, I hit my lap button, and I cooled down. That was it, we're done. I hit like 5.5 miles, not even that. So that was my first run, even though I had planned 8. I hit the time cap, I'm done.
So that was the week, and you can pretty much expect that format from here on out for the duration of this 20-week training plan. Monday is an easy run, Tuesday cross training, Wednesday some speed work, Thursday more cross training, Friday an easy short to mid-length run, and Saturday's my long run, Sunday's a rest day. Now that Friday, Saturday back-to-back is what I am considering a Goofy challenge simulation pretty much every week. So if I have a 10-mile run on Saturday, I'm doing a 5-mile run on Friday. Okay? Now, as we go through the training plan, that is going to increase as we go. So I will build up long run mileage, and that Friday mileage will also build in relationship to that Saturday long run. The thing about this plan is that it's designed to be flexible. So let's just say that I don't feel like doing that Friday, Saturday back to back, I can push that Friday run back a little bit. I can flip-flop it with a cross training. I have a few rules for myself. I don't run the day after my speed work, and I have to take that rest day after my long run. Everything else is pretty flexible. The last rule I have is that I'm not running more than 3 days in a row. I'm not training for dopey. I don't have to do that. So as I'm building up mileage on that long run, I'm also making myself more tired for that long run. I am training specifically for Goofy Race and a Half Challenge. A half marathon on Saturday and a full marathon on Sunday. That is the goal. That this plan is flexible is designed to keep me from burning out. 20 weeks is about as long as I can handle, and no matter how long the training cycle is, I burn out about halfway through. It could be a 12-week training cycle, it could be a 25-week training cycle. Halfway through, I get burned out and I need a break. So 20 weeks is about all I feel I need. And this week I started out quite slow. I'm easing back into full-blown running. I was nursing a runner's knee for a while, and I want to keep myself healthy, keep myself rested, and really focus on the recovery piece of the running. So I only logged 15 miles this week, while a lot of other folks at this point in their training have logged much longer. It's a long 4.5 months, and I just want to get through it healthy and with lack of burnout, and I want to approach Goofy Race and a Half Challenge just ready to go. So for the next 20 weeks, I hope you follow me on this phase of my journey. Marathon training is tough, and I don't expect that every week is going to be smooth sailing, but I can tell you this, that Sundays, my update vlogs are going to kind of focus on one thing. I'm still going to show you how each of my runs kind of looks and all of the pieces and the steps along the way, but it is going to have a specific focus. And that focus will also be reflected in my midweek training video as well. Along the way, I might share some exercises and moves that I do specifically to keep myself strong that you might incorporate into your training as well. The bottom line is that this training cycle is a study in moderation. It's a study in training smarter, but not more. I'm going to be very focused in how I am approaching each one of my runs. And yes, it may drive me crazy throughout this training plan to train my heart rate, but that's part of the journey. And I want to come out on the other side of Goofy Race and a Half Challenge healthy and ready for the next step. I am thinking of the long game here. So if you are training for any event at Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend or any combination of them, please leave that in the description below. If you have any questions about how to approach your training or how to approach race day, leave those in the comment section as well. But if you aren't training for a RunDisney event and do have a race calendar, I would love to hear about it and how I can help you along on your journey. If you have questions for me, leave those in the comments section as well. But guys, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for supporting me and encouraging me on this journey. If you're new to the channel, welcome, stick around, we're gonna have a good time. Guys, if you've been around for a while, thank you so much for your continued support and encouragement. It means a lot. It really means a lot to me that you've been here. This one's going to be fun. So please, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. I will see you on the next one. Until then, go find your awesome and happy running.